Hi everyone, I'm Catherine from the Ridgefield Historical Society. Back in 2017, the Connecticut Legislature proclaimed the third Monday in April Patriots' Day to commemorate the first battles of the American Revolutionary War, Lexington and Concord. This year, the Historical Society, along with the Drumhill chapter of the DAR, Keeler Tavern Museum and History Center, and other organizations, encourage you to dress up in colonial garb to celebrate Patriots' Day on Monday, April 19th. I would now like to introduce Candace Cowan, one of our wonderful volunteers, who will show us how women dressed in the 18th century and inspire you to participate in Get Colonial Day.
I am wearing what an average woman in colonial America would have been wearing during the time of the Revolution. Her clothes would have been made at home. There was no way to go and buy ready-made clothes. If you were wealthy, you could hire a dressmaker, but other than that, you'd be making them yourselves. You'd also be making the fabrics yourself from wool, linen, and if you were wealthy, cotton. But today I'm just going to talk about the clothes themselves. So I've just come in from my morning walk, and I am wearing a sunbonnet. The sunbonnet would be worn over my cap. So now that I'm inside, I will take my sunbonnet off. I'm also a little bit warm, so I'll be taking off my wool shawl, which was knitted from local sheep. Underneath my shawl, I am wearing, first of all, a cap. A woman would always wear a cap. Her hair was always covered as a sign of modesty, but it was also because working near a fire, if you had long hair, it was a good chance that it could catch on fire, and so you would keep your hair safe under your cap. This kerchief is either called a kerchief or a fichu, and a woman would wear one all the time. Men usually wore some sort of a kerchief also. My top, which you can see this back of here, is called a short gown, and this would have been made from linen or cotton also. Underneath my short gown, I am wearing a shift or chemise. You can see the lace peeking out from the sleeves. The chemise or shift was the thing worn closest to the body. All other clothes would come on top. This is called a pocket. Fabric was very expensive, and it was not only expensive in terms of cost if you were going to buy it, but it was expensive in terms of time if you were going to make it. And because of that, women's clothes did not have pockets in each piece of garment. A woman would have one pocket that she would wear every day. She would keep keys if she had it, coins, maybe a needle and thread and a little pin cushion. Whatever she might need during the day was kept in her pocket. Since she wore it all the time, she might embroider it, as I have done here with a pattern of lavender, to make it look pretty. At night, she would take her pocket off by simply untying it and put it aside, and the next morning when she got dressed, her pocket would go back on. Most often, a woman wore her pocket underneath her apron because she didn't want to show off what was in it or how beautiful her pocket was. I had it on the outside just so I could show you. Next, I have on an apron. My apron is made out of wool. It had to be made out of wool, and it would be made out of wool summer or winter because I am working by a fire all the time. Even in the summer, we would have a fire in the fireplace, so we would have warm water so we could cook, etc. and so on. Fires, as you know, send sparks. If I were wearing an apron made of linen and a spark hit it, I would be in great danger of catching on fire. Linen is the same thing that they make candle wicks out of, and it would have been the most common lightweight fabric available to me. but it isn't safe for an apron. So all aprons were made out of wool. Now you can see the rest of my short gown, and please note that it's held on with ties. Everything in women's clothing was held on with ties, or what they called tapes. And the reason for that is that in the 18th century, they did not have maternity clothes. And fabric was so expensive that you couldn't make a whole nother set of maternity clothes. So by having everything fitted to your body by drawstrings that you could get bigger and smaller as your shape changed, you could wear the same clothes during a pregnancy. My skirt is also kept on with ribbons or tapes. As you can see, it has gatherings and it's kept on just by tightening the strings. I'd also like you to notice my feet, because the fact is you can see my feet. Do not think that women on the average day walked around in gowns that swept the floor, because exactly what they would be doing would be sweeping the floor. It was very hard to do laundry. You couldn't just throw a load in the washing machine. If you wanted to wash clothes, you had to set a fire outside, bring a cauldron of water to boil. First you had to grow soap board and make your own soap. Then you'd have to wash the clothes, and you'd have to get more water from the well to rinse the clothes. It was an all-day job. So the clothes that got washed most often was your chemise or shift underneath, because that was close to your body, and your apron, but you didn't want to be washing your whole outfit all the time. So by making it so that your dress did not touch the ground, you could keep it cleaner for longer. If you were going somewhere fancy, you might have a longer gown, but that would be only for best occasions. Next week, I'm going to give you instructions on how to make your own colonial costume so that you could start working on one for the reenactment or the celebration of the Battle of Ridgefield, which was in April. So we will start working on costumes, and we're going to start with a pocket. So look for that next week. I'll have instructions up on our website. Thank you. Hope you have a great day.